Shut up and sit down.
Right. Let's just move that breadboard out of the way. Because it is diorama time for Barry Sheene and Kenny Roberts. Okay, so we'll do a start to finish on this dio for you. Let's find somewhere to put my bikes up. Just whilst I put the base up. So the materials, I had laying around a bit of old cupboard backing from when I done my kitchen. This is when I start dropping everything as usual. Carpet monster again. Damn thing. He's about 28 stone now. So there's a base. Now, how I want to do this is I want to have the bikes coming away at a bit of an angle. I'll just move my camera up a bit because we're quite lengthy here. There you go. Right, we'll get me bikes. One here and one there. I want to kind of have them going at a jaunty angle, like so. Okay, and then here we're going to have the side of the track, bit of arm cove, and then the tower with the PA system on it. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. Let's just adjust the angle a little bit on this for you because we're all over the place today. Not sure why. I've had a bit of a move around in the cave, and I've got a feeling that all my original ways that I filmed have been disrupted. So bear with me whilst I try and set up in a decent-ish way. So like so. Okay, that's what we're after. Okay. So we can move them out of the way. Now to build this base up, I'm going to use some polystyrene packing. Okay, that will raise it, and then we'll edge it with some thin balsa to build the sides. Okay. So that's what we're looking for, and then it will be covered with the blue foam to represent the tarmac. Simple thin camping mat foam, in case you wonder. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now to stick this down, I use good old no-nails. All I use. A little bit of that seems to do the job for me. I'll just come right the way around the edge of the poly. And that is that. See, so that's the first bit ready. Round about there. Just so that I can line up the second bit, and then I can jiggle them both around. The no-nails is worth its weight in gold. See, put a pattern on the back end of that one. And we want that around about there, like so. And that's going to stick that like the proverbial to a blanket. Okay. So we'll let that cure, and then we'll attach our tarmac, and then I can trim that, and then we'll attach the balsa wood. And it's all no nails. It's the best thing to use for it because it's an instant bond, does the job exactly as it says on the tin. Bob's your uncle. Now all I've got to do on here, can't seem to find where I put that. Ah, there it is. All I've got to do on here is this section. I want to have as removable so that I can put the battery packs, the soundboard and all of that lot in there. Okay, so I will be modifying again on a lot of this, but yeah. So that's what I plan on doing with that. Just need to figure out how big a compartment I need to make. Let's just lean the pipes back on because they're coming down the way like so. So I could probably have a larger section. So that's where trackside's going to be. I reckon I can lose a sizable corner for the battery pack and the board. Probably a bit more over there. In anticipation. So that's the plan for that. So I can probably go ahead and attach my foam. Along here. Get that in there like so. Now I tend to put a lot on purely because where it's representing a racetrack, you don't want it bobbing up and down and faffing about with it. So that's us done with the no-nails for now. And let's line it up as best as one can. Like so. And then I spin it upside down. And then I'll put some weight on it. Normally what I do is I stick it under my chair and sit on it. Because that's ample weight. Arf, arf. Okay, so I'm going to let that cure. And then we'll come back and we'll trim the edges of it. We'll trim the edges all around, neaten them up. And then we can start a little bit more sexy work on the diode. Okay? See you in a moment. Right. We've had time to dry. So I'll just have a little shufty around for you. Like so. So right, we've had time to dry. it's now a chance to start trimming off some edges. So let's just move you a minute. It will comply. How's that, peeps? Let's bring myself so that I can see what we're doing. There you go. I'm just trying to get it, because it's quite big, get it all in screen. Right, time to trim the edges of this foam. Okay. So I'll try and get it on the shot as best as I can for you. But I'm just running one blade down the side and resting it on the poly and keeping it just under pressure, because then as you cut your foam, you're going to end up with as crisp an edge as you can get. So try and keep your blade tensioned on that bit of polystyrene. Like that, see? And you end up with a beautifully flush edge all the way down. Makes it so much easier when you come to put your balsa sides on. Okay. And straight away, that's neatened that up. A little bit of a lump there, so let's just come back at that one. There you go. We can come back at the front side now. Same again. As near as down as you can get it. Now I've deliberately cut away from it at the corner there because I've got a removable section, so this is going to be a flap that I chop off any input. Okay, so straight away it's looking a little bit more respectable. Okay, so let's find me lines so that I can slice out the removable section. Coming down there, coming down there. Pardon me. Got a ruler somewhere. Right in front of me. Doofus. I'll use a piece of balsa because that will line up then with my edges. So let's bring them up onto the foam so that we can see we're coming along there. Like that. So that's going to be the section that gets taken out. Actually, no it ain't, it's further down. Look. That was the original one. Didn't think it looked right. It's that one. That's better. Some of that. So, let's get me knife. And we'll start chopping out that bit of foam. Preferably not the balsa wood. Like so. Yeah, it's coming up nicely now, so I don't leave that in the way. That's what we want. I'll give that a hearty rip away. Cool. And then that is going to be the lift out part. Yeah? Worry about your edge because that'll get dressed up afterwards. So now I can neaten that side with a pair of scissors. Like that. And then I'll have curve on it. Bit of grass, Gene, and the PA speaker. So that's what that's going to have. So that, as you can now see, is my removable section. So I'm going to keep that because that's my template for t'other side. And then we can start thinking now of dressing the edges of this. So let's get that. I'll do a quick measurement of how wide it is so that we can cut that in half. Right, 3 inches there or thereabouts. So we want to dot there. And a dot there. That becomes our centre line. Let's get another bit of balsa. Move that out of the way just for 1 second. Lose the small mat for 1 moment. And then we can come at this because we'll get 2 sides out of this one piece, see? So. And the beauty of using balsa is it is such a thin wood that you can run a score line in it, and it'll either cut it right the way through or it'll enable you just to chop it like that. Okay? So that's the front and back side done. Just give me a smaller piece. Do exactly the same on that. So it's 1.5 inches. There or thereabouts. Like that. Shove a bit of balsa up there. Can never not have too much balsa wood. Quick tidy up. La 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 la. That piece, and then these become your sides like so of the frame, and it's just subtle to finish off the edge of the track there. Okay, so again that's all we're up to. So I'm gonna put on the front and the rear piece just to get an idea of what we're looking like, because we want to cover the sides actually first. So scratch that. We'll put the sides on and trim them down, and then the front and rear section will hide the end grain. Yeah. So let's do a quick little scribe line up the side of that. There you go. Get a sanding stick on the edge of that. Yeah, look at that. Oh, lovely. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I sand this down to fit the edges of the bolts, and then I put a nice bead around the bottom. So, happy with that. Number 2, wherever you are, it's under there. It's going to be exactly the same length as that, isn't it? So, that's it, a sanding stick. Lovely. And that's going to go in there, like so. So we can stick them on, let them cure, and then come back at it with the front pieces. Just want to put a little bit along the front edge there. Go, that's what I want. I want it to ooze out of there. So I'll do that. Get rid of all the seams. Press into the poly, and that is an edge on, see? That's what we want. Do the same the other end. Give that a press so that we can all see each other again. That's what we want. So that. There. And then there was another piece that I had kept, which I'm just going to rest on for a minute, just so that I make sure my height is accurate, which it is, so that when that piece settles on, I'm flush with the edges, like that. So it is coming along nicely. So we've got the front now to go on. Remember, it's covering the end grain of the piece underneath it. Where's that front? That's the front piece there, because it's the better of the two. Like that. So I'm going to glue that, but not cut it just yet. I can put a dot on there as to where it's going to be cut, but I'm not going to cut it just yet. Just want to make sure that I'm covering my grain. So I'm going to cut away from the edge. And then I can come back at it with a saw later on. Let's just get the old no nails a Rooney on it. Quick move round. I'm struggling for a bit of room there. That's better. Let's put me no nails on, people. Alright, so bear with me. Normal service will resume any minute. Again, I'm just running it along the edge of the foam. I'll hold it up in a minute. And that's all we're doing. I'll turn it back to me now. And we can start pressing it on. Just have a little edge that I can feel once this is taken up its level. Again, it's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's as near as we can get at this stage, and then, like I say, once it's all fully cured, I can then come back at it and just tweak anything that I need to. All I'm interested in at the moment is framing it, and then I can let this all cure off overnight. But whilst it's still movable, I want to try and get the front and sides attached. With that little bit, and then we can come at this piece Like that. We've got a little split in here, so I just want to give that a little bit of a doing over. It's where I was a bit exuberant with my knife earlier, but it'll stick down. Like that. That's the beauty of bolting. We are getting quite tidy now. Let's just lay that back on, just to make sure I can now trim that edge. But we end up at the right height there, which we are. And that is stage 1 of the frame made. Okay. May not look too pretty at the moment, but bear with me. Okay, that's now going to be left to cure. Okay, and then any imperfections can have a bit more nails put in, and we can then sand to our heart's content. But that is pretty much where I want to be for the moment on this. I'm going to pause there, let this dry overnight now, and then come back at it, and then we'll dress it all up. See you in a moment. Rightio. That's now had time to dry. Like that. And then we've gone round the edge with a little bit of square balsa all the way around. 2 cocktail sticks off of where the bikes are going to go. So we are now ready for a bit of primer. I tend to use Vallejo surface primer for all my dios. I bought a big bottle of it yonks ago, and I didn't find it easy to go through the airbrush for me. For whatever reason, my airbrush just don't like the stuff. So I tend to use it now solely for my dioramas. Quick stir and literally slap it on.
Slap it on.
More than one coat of this is going to be needed. So this will soak up quite a bit of it anyway. I just want to get an initial first coat on to absorb it, and it'll also give a little bit of a base for everything else to go on. Always a worry when you first start putting on primers. Get it in there, some of that. I know what. Start doing then is brushing it in the direction of the track. So that's had a little bit on there. Same with the wood. really get it in there. Shy. Around the edges. I know it's getting a soaking. This is what I want. I want the balsa to absorb as much of this paint as possible. Lovely. That's a little bit on there. Okay, so we're getting there. And just keep at it. It's coming along. All the way down there. And you'll notice now I'm going in the direction that the bikes are going to go in. A diagonal across. There. Just leave this to dry now. A good layer of a primer, because the foam will absorb quite a bit. Ideally, you probably could do with size in this, which is a bit of a PVA mix, PVA and water. Then you paint it over a surface like this, and its size is it's a bit like when you wallpaper and you want to seal your walls. It just puts like a thin, clear sealer over it. I think we've had enough primer on there. So I'm just going to clean the brush and that out. decant the rest of the unused primer back into the bottle. Waste not, want not. Happy days. And we'll let that dry. When we come back, we'll start putting some paint on.